Hi guys, today I thought I would take a few minutes and show you some different mark making tools that you can find right around your house that you can use in your art journals, on your canvas art, with your mixed media. There's just so many options and it's basically all free. All you have to do is look around and you will find lots of things. If it has a shape or a texture, it's really something that you might want to just give it a go and see how it works. So let's get started. I just have some acrylic paint here to my right, and I'm going to start with the everyday object. It's just a simple cap from a milk bottle. Dip the edges into the paint, and if you get them all in, you get a full circle, which I'm not getting. There we go. And I love to use circles in my art. You'll see a lot of circles, mostly in my journals and sometimes on my canvases as well. But this is a really easy, great way. Just keep a tub of water next to you, Tupperware container, whatever, and toss it in when you're done, and it'll be ready to go. This is one of my favorite things, just a little matchbox car. The wheels, if you run the wheels through the paint and onto your paper, you get some really cool stripes. Make checks. Shelf liner, the stuff that keeps your shelves clean and keeps things from sliding around. Just dip that in. They come in a lot of different textures too, so find something that you like. Just dip it in the paint and dab it on, and you will get some really good texture. An empty container from a creamer, coffee creamer. Circle on the bottom will give you sound effects too. Smaller circles. If you use this edge, you're going to have this little tab as well, so double-edged. My dog is whining to go outside, of course, because I just started this video. Faux flower leaves. You can pull one off, you can use the whole thing. If you use it, some of them have the veining through the back. This one just has the main vein. But that's a real good option for getting a whole image of a leaf. I use this one a lot, especially in my journals when I want a larger circle maybe to journal in. If you put it down and run, I usually use my Stabilo. Just run your pencil, watercolor pencil, marker, whatever you're using, around there, and then you can activate it if you want. I don't know how it'll work on this paper. I'm just using the back of some scrapbooking paper. But then you can get a real cool shading effect from your Stabilo, or move your watercolor out. But that's an easy way to get a nice circle. You can also use the center part if you wanted the middle, or you can use that just to make a smaller circle. A straw is really great if you're using watercolor. Now I'm not sure if I get enough out of this used palette paint. If you have a nice big drop of color, it's really sinking in because this isn't watercolor, and then blow, Nothing happens because I'm on the wrong kind of paper. Okay. Anyway, if I had a big drop of juicy watercolor on watercolor paper where the paint wasn't absorbing right into the paper like it is on this paper, well, you have a drop there, just blow and you get these really cool fireworks kind of drips that just fly out, and depending on how hard you blow, they're going to do different things. The other thing you can do is dip your straw in the end, or the end of your straw in your paint, and make tiny circles. So I use straws a lot. An old credit card, key card, whatever, that you don't use anymore, dip that edge right in your paint, put it down, and just go right around. I didn't choose a very good paper. Everything's absorbing in really quickly. But you get the idea. You can make a full circle. You can, you know, make cool marks going down your page that way just by dragging the paint. Right? Pretty cool. Save your packing materials that have the bubble wrap. I guess I am obsessed with circles, but bubble wrap makes cool circles too. Nice background texture to add into your background. Free. You can't beat free, can you? I don't think so. Okay, so household items. The other thing I like to use are hardware items. My dad was an extremely handy man, and he had just tool chest upon tool chest of spare parts and tools and whatnot. And when I discovered a whole drawer full of springs, yeah, springs is one of my favorite things. All sizes, and now that one's stuck. All different sizes and thicknesses, so you get some pretty cool results. These work pretty good when you water your paint down a bit, and you get messy. But just put the paint on the spring and roll it out, and you get these really fine lines. And if you want to come back the other direction, it will drag through and make a really fine pattern. Or if you have a big heavy one like this one, and I'm putting paint on it, then you get thicker lines. So springs, cookie cutters also, because you know we have tons of different shapes and sizes of cookie cutters. If you just dip that edge in, you can get the shape of the cookie cutter onto your page. This one has a really fine edge, so you're going to get pretty fine lines out of that one. I found this gigantic washer. So this works pretty much the same as the little CD-ROM, whatever you call these tiny ones. Same, it just has a bigger hole in the center, so there's another option for circles. Here's a big hex nut. I think that's a hex nut. Anyway, it's got this screwed in piece here, so it makes a great handle. And dip that in. And I'm just getting the center circle. For some reason I'm not getting this. So again, when you find things, experiment on scraps and see what they'll do for you, and find what you like the best. This is a little handle from something or other, I don't know what, but I have used this and I like the way this looked. Right? So many options You know, and if you don't have access to drawers of parts like I was fortunate enough to have, you can always just peruse the aisles at Home Depot, and little hardware pieces are pretty cheap. So here's just another, I don't know if this is a pipe fitting or what it is, but that makes kind of a cool little shape. It's got these little hoogies on the side. Hoogie, that's a technical term, hardware term. This, I had a giant push pin that the top broke off of, so there's a good open circle on one end and a smaller circle that I'm just getting partial. If it's not completely flat, you're not going to get it completely filled in, but I kind of like the organic nature of how that one works. This one I've never tried before. Let's give it a try and see what it does. I like the shape of it. Nah, not so much. Not getting very much off of the edges of that, the outside of it. Let's see, let's try this. Yeah, there we go. That's kind of cool. I could live with that. I kind of like that one. Okay, so that's household items and hardware. Let's set that aside, let it dry. I may just go over that with some inks or whatever and use it as a background. So when I discovered that, then I thought, well, I can start making my own texture stamps. So this is a piece of burlap just wrapped around a scrap piece of wood and stapled on. And so if you use a quite wet paint, you can get a nice texture from something like burlap. And then I took more of those creamer cups and glued them to a scrap piece of wood, so I can ink this or put paint on this and get a whole bunch of circles in my background all at the same time. So I do use that quite a bit. And then you all know you can just cut a cellulose sponge into the shape that you want. Get it wet. I'll show you, although I'm sure you've all done this one before, but there's always people that are just starting, so we'll just do it. I'll show you. I think I got it too wet, but you'll get the idea. Yeah, so that worked really pretty. That actually looks like a pretty fall leaf. Another homemade, I had a round piece of scrap wood again from my dad, thanks Dad, and just took some twine and wrapped it in a kind of a spoke pattern and stapled it on the back, and that makes a nice mark too. And then I took some fine hardware cloth, same thing. I'm running out of paint over here, or I would show you. This one takes a long time to get enough paint on to do it. It really works well as a negative where you have a layer of paint on and you lift it with this and it makes a cool pattern that, you know, in the negative. So those are my homemade pieces. And then don't throw away your toilet paper rolls, because you can take bubble wrap, rubber bands. Let me get some more paint out here so I can show you. My paint is gone. And I'll just do a little bit on here. Water it down some, but get your paint on there. Try not to slop it all over like I just did. I think that was totally off camera. Sorry about that. I'm just going to do one end here. Make it pretty juicy with paint. And then when you roll, you get the marks from the rubber bands as well as the impression of the bubble wrap. That actually kind of reminds me of a giraffe pattern. This has been well used. I don't know how well it will work anymore because it's kind of stiff with paint. But if you just snip all the way around, no, Dozer, go lay down. Sorry, my dog wants to go outside. Dip that in the paint. Again, I probably don't have enough paint here. Let me see if I can get this filled up enough to show you, because it makes a really cool impression. Trying to keep it about in the same spot and just rotate it, and makes kind of a cool flower sort of looking image. This I took foam. This is really well used, as you can see, but I took foam and covered the toilet paper roll with it, and then dropped drops of hot glue on there. Let's see if I can get anything off of this anymore. It's kind of worn out. I need to make a new one. But again, just roll it down your page and you get ink, or fill it with paint, but you get the idea. You get just a really cool random pattern from that. Wipe my hands off. This is sort of the same idea, only just like this one, only it's just rubber bands, and so you get just the lines from the rubber bands, which is also pretty cool. This one, I took the foam, wrapped it around the toilet paper roll, and then just pinched pieces of the foam out, so you get the negative space when you run that over. So that's just a quick video on different things that you can find around your house in the hardware store. You'll be amazed once you start looking with an eye to what kind of mark would that make. So start using mark making in your backgrounds. It's really fun. It's a great layer to add so that you know, you get that different texture, and it can really evoke different feelings depending on what kind of marks you make. So give it a go, see what you can come up with. Let me know if you find something really cool that I haven't discovered yet. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.